Here comes the money. Here we go. Money talk.
Hello and welcome to the Financial Fitness Buddy Podcast, your number one stop shop to all things money management. My name is Nicolette Manshile, and of course I am your host, also known as your financial bunny, here to put lipstick on that money pig. This week's book is Wealthing Like Rabbits by Robert R. Brown. I love this title. Guys, there's nothing more difficult than coming up with the title of a book. Forget the fact that I've been writing this book for 4 years that I'm trying to take out, but just getting the title right is so important because that's what makes a lot of people take the book off the shelf in the bookshop. So it's very important to get that book titles correct. And essentially what you want to do is to take the title and make sure that encompasses the whole book. And basically this is what Robert has done, because Wealthing Like Rabbits is you imagining a world where financial concepts are as simple as carrots and literally multiplying your wealth is as natural as rabbits breeding. I don't know, have you ever seen rabbits breeding? Go ask a rabbit farmer and ask him, how does it look when a rabbit breeds? I promise you it's like blinking your eye. Today there's 10, you blink your eye again, then there's 30, you blink again, then there's 60. It looks so easy to farm rabbits because they breed, okay? They breed better than any other animal in the world. So it's almost like, how do you make sure that your wealth does exactly that? And there's actually a podcast that I'm going to do talking a little bit about the comparison between weight loss, weight management, and money management, because they're just such great similarities between the two concepts. And essentially, it's because of certain things that people who go to the gym and keep a healthy mindset, healthy whatever, do better than people who want to be good at their money management. But let's come back to today's conversation and today's book, Wealthing Like Rabbits by Robert R. Brown. I mean, if you just imagine your wealth multiplying like rabbits, that's exactly what this book speaks about, right? In this book, Robert really strips away the jargon of financial world and he serves it up with just so much wit. He serves up financial literacy and money management, or rather personal finance management, with so much wit and so much quirkiness, because I think that's what we need, you know? I created my company and I called it the Financial Bunny because I wanted it to be soft. I wanted you to want to come towards a bunny because that's what finance should be like, not these words that financial people use, gearing and all sorts of things, and you sit in there and you're like, what are you talking about? You know, ratios, income to debt ratio. I'm like, sorry, hello, please just speak like a normal person, because okay. But anyway, in this barrow, which is his book, compound interest isn't just a dry topic for economists. It is the magical force that makes your money multiply faster than a hot-blooded bunny. Brown, he goes into the financial field. He teaches how to nibble on the green leaves of budgeting and how to burrow away from the dangerous traps of debt. Because if you want to save your money, you've got to run away from debt, especially high interest rate debt. Why? Because it is making a decision for the future today. If you take out debt, essentially what you're creating is a liability that you have in the future, which means that already in the future, if you earn 10,000 Rand, but you've got a 1,000 Rand liability, you essentially only earn 9,000 Rand because the other 1,000 is not yours, because today you made that decision that the next 3 years, the 10,000 you earn in the next 3 years, it is actually minus 1,000 Rand. So definitely you are earning 9,000 Rand. So it's important to make sure that you stay away from the traps of high interest rate debt, right? But it's not all about hoarding your carrots, right? Brown nudges us to play in the meadows of smart spending, where you can enjoy life's pleasures without sacrificing your financial future security. He reminds us that while saving is great, investing is where the real breeding lies. And for those thinking about cohabiting in the warren of love, Wealthing Like Rabbits does not shy away from the money talk that couples need to have. And I'm going to stop you here and ask you, when was the last time you had a decent, progressive, mature conversation with your significant other about money? Too many of us are running away from that conversation, and we know that financial harmony can keep your family happy and prosperous. So ensure that you do take out some time, whether it's once a month, to have a conversation. I saw people are doing what's this thing that Spotify does where they do a wrapped thing every single year, and people are doing a wrapped about their finances, and it's like really great, and they're having like, throw forwards into what's next year 2024 going to look like. I think it's a good thing to be doing because it's important. So if you're ready to start wealthing like rabbits, make sure that you get this book, because I can tell you it's like chewing away at lettuce. Lettuce is not the best food in the world. Let's just be fair. And finance is exactly the same. But lettuce is easy to chew. It's crunchy. It can be exciting. There are different types of lettuce. I found out the other day there's butter lettuce, there's what lettuce, leafy lettuce, green lettuce. I was like, I know there's so many lettuce. Then that's what personal finance is all about. While we all eating lettuce, we all might be eating different types of lettuce, and we might be eating it differently. You may be putting your lettuce into a sandwich. I may be putting it into a burger. Some people are actually having what they call a bunless burgers, and their patty is wrapped in lettuce. You may be having it in a salad. You may be having it as a snack. So it's important to understand that while personal finance is the same for all of us, how we manage our money should essentially be following the same set of rules. It may look different. Its manifestation in your life is going to look different. However, this book, Wealthing Like Rabbits, will teach you how to munch away at the fields of finance. And that's why I absolutely love it. Here's some of the lessons that have come out of the book that I absolutely love. 1, start early and take advantage of compound interest. We don't need to talk about compound interest. Darren Hardy has put it in his book, The Compounding Effect. If you have not read that book, get the book. Get the book now. It's that whole comparison of, if I give you R1 today that doubles every single day, or the balance of it doubles every single day for 30 days, versus if I give you 5 million rand in a lump sum, which one are you going to take? Of course you take the R1 that doubles every single day. Let us not be silly. It is compound interest in its best run. So it's important to understand that starting early is what's going to give you that advantage on compound interest. The second one is avoid debt like a predator. I say it's almost impossible to avoid all types of debt, but you can be smart about your debt. Ask yourself, the debt that I am taking, what is its actual purpose? Is it for consumption purposes, or is it for production purposes? So let's roll back into that production conversation. Remember, we spoke a lot about that conversation to say you can eat less cake. It's possible. Or you can bake more cake. It's one of the biggest lessons that I teach my children when I do the Money Bunny Masterclasses. I always say, listen, babies, you've got a cake. You've invited 10 of your friends. If you chop up the cake can only give you 8 slices. Which 2 friends are you not going to give any cake to? Or are you going to decide to make the slices smaller so that you can accommodate all 10 people? Or should you just ask your mama, you got to bake more cake? So you got to ask yourself that question. It's a very simple analogy. I teach it to children and they fully understand it, and I expect adults to understand it. So I always say, when you are going to be taking a debt, make sure it's debt that is going to push your bottom line. Is it going to push my bottom line? Is it a house that I'm buying? Or am I taking out debt so that I can go on a holiday and splash on my friends and, we do all sorts of weird things? The next one is budgeting is your map to treasure. Guys, let's just be fair. Budgeting is tedious, but let me tell you, it's those mundane things that you gotta do that are gonna make you wealthy. As simple as that. I'm not gonna go too much into budgeting because I start to sound like a broken record, and you know what? I don't like to sound like a broken record. Just budget, okay? Please, budget. And I know, let me tell you, let me confess something. It's easy to say budget because me, even myself, there are those buttons when I don't budget, and I know those months and I don't budget. In my life, I don't know where the money has gone to. I don't have enough money. I'm not clear what the hell is happening. And let me be honest, I've been very lucky. This is a conversation I want to have in that weight management and money management conversation, because I have been lucky. And it often happens when you have more money than what you need every single month that you stop budgeting. That's the problem. We'll get into that conversation in that podcast. Let's move on to the next lesson from Wealthing Like Rabbits from Robert R. Brown. Live below your means, not within them. We've been preaching live within your means, live within your means, live within. No, sweetie, live below your means. Let's go back to the apple theory I've been teaching for years now. 10 apples, 8 you can do whatever you want with. The 2 apples are the within that you must now stop living within and live below. So the 2 apples, one goes into the freezer as your savings and the other goes into underground as your investment. I'm going to move on from that one. The next one is going to sound a little controversial, and I think it depends on where you live. It says home ownership isn't always the dream. Beam, beam, beam. Home ownership isn't always the dream. Look, and I say this all the time. I say ask yourself why you want to own a home. If it's to point out brick and mortar to your friends and show them that you are wealthy, then you've got a problem, because then definitely it is not the dream. But if you have been underprivileged all your life and you've never had your own home and you need to buy a home for dignity reasons, then we're having a different conversation. But that don't mean you must buy your house stupid. Let's just be simple. It don't mean you go into the bank and want to get a house by all means, at any terms and conditions. We don't do that here. We make proper decisions. Yes, we want a home. How do you buy a home? You save up a deposit for your home. You prepare. You buy the best home that you can afford. You don't buy more home that you need. And then you make sure that your interest rate is below what you would normally get offered at the bank. So how do you do that? You invest in your credit score. I'm going to move on from that one. The next one is investing is the key to wealth. Simple as that. No need to discuss that one. Investing is a key to wealth. Next, retirement planning is non-negotiable. This one goes out to all of you people who are 18 to 24. I'm 24 to 20. Y'all think that y'all are not going to get a retirement. Oh, sweetie. Oh, honey. The reason why you wake up every single day to try not to die is because you're trying to get to retirement. Now, you can't get to retirement, no money. And let me explain to you what retirement is. Retirement are those years where you have to stop working because you are no longer employable. Okay? Stop working. As simple as that. So where you gonna get money from? That's why you have to do retirement planning. It's a non-negotiable. It is one of those financial goals that you will have to meet at some point. The next one, money and relationships. Did you know that money issues are the number 2 biggest reasons why people divorce and the number 1 reason why men die from suicide? Simple as that. I want to get into a conversation about a friend of mine who's divorcing because I believe her man is going through money issues, but he is not finding the words to articulate that correctly. So what is he doing? He's manifesting it in other ways, but I'm not going to talk about that. All I'm saying is money and relationships are very important. Get into the conversation. Education is empowering. It is not going to save you. By the way, there's a lot of people who know money management and understand it as theory, but it is not put into practice. So it's good that you understand the basics of personal finance, but it's even better if you put them into action. Last one, have fun. It can't be that bad. It can't be that annoying. It can't be that frustrating. Managing your money is serious business, but it's important to understand and enjoy the journey. I'm going to leave this there and I'm going to talk about something that was said to me a couple of years ago. My sister said something to me and I was absolutely upset. And this is because, yes, your money does matter. And you are into today's episode of this podcast. And we're going to talk about to whom much is given, much is required or will be required. The question is, and I think we all understand this, even in the Bible somewhere. I think it's in Luke. Y'all know I ain't that big of a Christian, so I don't know where the hell verses are in the Bible. But I know the Bible, let me tell you that. Now, I know it's somewhere there in Luke. But it says, let me repeat it, to whom much is given, much will be required. And I remember my sister Bridget saying this to me. I was very frustrated at some point in my life. And I was like, I'm tired of everybody expecting me to save them financially. I cannot do this anymore. Oh my God, my father just sends his children to Joburg and says Nicolette will see them. I'm like, festive, I don't like living with anyone. So please don't send your children to live with me. I am not the auntie. I am not the sister. And I'm definitely not the cousin that you can say, oh, Nicolette, you said Josie. Hey, sorry. Please, I will get them a flat. That's how far I will go. I will compromise my own finances and I'll get them. Because I don't want to live with anybody. And let me tell you, people are like, oh, you're so selfish. No. it is that reason that I'm not selfish. Because if I can take care of my mental health by living by myself, I will not be selfish. Okay? So allow me the grace of living by myself. Anyway, sitting on my what's that island thing in your kitchen, my sister then says this to me. Maybe God has given you all this money so that you can save everyone. I really wanted to chew her. I was like, hey, please man, I don't like it. But you know what? I asked myself the other day, because it's December, it's time to go home. And everybody's talking about, going home is expensive. And I was like, yeah. Look, I mean, a full tank from Joburg to Bushbuck Ridge is like 3,000. And by the time you arrive at Bushbuck Ridge, it's empty, right? Toll gates. Luckily, I'm not the person who stops at a garage. So please, if you're ever thinking of going home with me and catching a lift, just know Guti see Shire one way straight. Aguna garage. Aguna stop at the Alzu. Stop at the Tani. What's that one that everybody loves? Tani Minties. What is it called? There, but when you go to Pumalanga, there's that auntie who's got a big garage there. No, we are not stopping there, okay? We're going straight. We're gonna get home. That's what I like now. So yes, there is some spending, and I always do this weird thing again. And now I'm getting into this expensive part. I somehow have taught myself that I cannot go home without stopping at Woolworths and buying my parents' groceries. And let me tell you, nobody's ever asked me. But let me tell you what makes Christmas even more expensive. It is you. You are the problem. You make Christmas for yourself expensive. Because I would like to believe that your parents are like Jesus and they say, come as you are, my child. Okay, look, no, not if you got black parents. Like, it doesn't work like that. But in many cases, the come as you are may say come as you are with the basics, but Tina, we like to go overboard without being asked. And give you an example. Last year I go home, it's Christmas time, I decide to go home. When I get home, first and foremost, I hate cooking, okay? I hate cooking, I hate chopping, I hate labor, I hate working. I just don't like it, okay? So in the quest of not being asked, because now sometimes I feel bad. Like when my sister's in the kitchen and they're chopping and I'm standing in the kitchen just wandering around, I feel bad. So I thought, okay, let me stop this thing of chopping. The only way to stop the thing of chopping on Christmas is if I take away the responsibility of cooking from my family, right? But what does that look like? It looks like me taking Mama, Papa, Ceci, Vivi, Candy, and then Bridget has Mkhoni and Violet has Ompile. Then we call it 8 of us out to Christmas lunch. Gucci were 495 per head. My God, okay? I almost died. I was like, So no, it's fine. We drive to the gorge last year for Christmas. We have lunch there. And then I have a sister who likes nice things. And my little sister somehow thinks that my bank account is her bank account. I don't think she even thinks about it. And really, to be fair, I don't blame her. Like, because this mkowa. I taught her this. She gets to there and orders champagne. Did I say it's $4.95 per head? And I'm paying it? Champagne. Champopolopo is what she ordered. And I was like, yay! And the thing that you're sitting there, you're getting upset. But the thing is, you're getting upset by yourself. So I thought, let me take a walk. So I walked out. I'm going to go look at the scene. The gorge is a beautiful place. I'm going to go just look at the scene. But I can feel I'm getting frustrated because I'm like, yay! How much money am I going to actually spend here? How much money am I actually going to spend? And here's the problem. Let me tell you what the problem is with not cooking at home. The problem is, usually when we cook in December, right, for Christmas, kusala ukudla. So you got leftovers for the next day and people can entertain themselves with the leftovers. Now when you did not cook, it means the next day needs food again. You gotta buy it again. Guys, please let me tell you, Now, I realized from last year's example that some of these things are actually very much self-inflicted, right? Yes, Blacktax does exist, but I think sometimes it's very important for us to think about where does it come from? Where does the pressure come from? And 80% of the time, you will realize that your pressure actually comes from internal. Some of the things that you want to do is from you, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to show your family that you are able, or even yourself, that you are able to I can take out my family. Because sometimes you're here in Joburg and you blow like 4,000 Rand on a lunch with friends, right? And then you're like, hey, bo, I can't do that for my family. This feels bad. It looks bad, you know? Sometimes you're spending, I mean, my January holiday this year cost something north of 40,000 per person. You know what I mean? And I'm like, if I can spend 40,000 Rand to go hang around on a beach, are you telling me that I really can't spend the same amount of money, or a fraction even of it, taking out my family to Sun City? You know what I mean? Sun City. Let me just say, I did sit on the Sun City booking system. And then I calculated, okay, if I am to book for my entire family, how many rooms? I got to 4 rooms and I was like, these people are too many. Let me start off with my parents first, and then next day we'll do my sisters. You know, because I was like, yeah. So you know, jokes aside, I think Christmas is a great time to be with family. It's very important. I think you need to stop putting the financial pressure on yourself. Is there a place for you to be able to assist? Yes, of course, there will always be. But I think every single time you do something, stop and ask yourself, who is putting this pressure on me to do this? Because it's the same as that thing of wanting to do like a destination holiday, or a destination birthday or something. Sometimes you're just not ready to do it, and to do it when you are not ready is just going to give you spender's remorse. Because yes, it may feel good for you to spend at the time, but the reality is afterwards you are left by yourself with the remorse of spending. But also you've now taught your family that you are now at that level. And you might find you literally crawled to that level. You are not at that level, but they see you and they perceive you as somebody at that level now. So now their expectations, even though they may not sound them out, are there. Very important. One last thing before I leave this podcast, because I want to discuss something. So you see my little sister's got a baby, né? Me, I don't have a baby. There's a weird thing black families do that we need to also discuss, where if you are not married or if you don't have children, sometimes your age does not matter. And first and foremost, in my house, it's Bridget, Nicolette, Violet, Candid. And I don't understand this thing, because now Violet has surpassed me because she has a baby. All of a sudden, Engati, I'm younger than Violet. I don't like it, and I need black families to understand this thing. That's number one. Number two, when you are not married, all of a sudden, it's like, you must come home for Christmas. But I bought a house in Joburg. I'm trying to start my own life and my own family. No, but you must come home because you don't have kids. No, but I want to start my own Christmas culture. No, but you must come home. No, I don't maintain being a child because I don't have kids or I'm not married. Please, at some point, I need black families to allow us to have the liberties to choose whether we want to come home or not. The whole thing about, Christmas is expensive, whatever, sometimes we use it as an excuse because we are retaliating against this thing of forcing us to come home. Please, black parents, stop it. I need you to stop it, okay? Just stop. It's unnecessary. You're putting us under pressure, and now we have to come up with all sorts of. And my parent knows I'm Christmas in and out. Hey, punyuka bampete yimloyo Christmas. Ngiyangena ngey 25, ngiyaphuma ngey 26. These days I don't even, in the past I used to say, oh no, I'm working, because I worked in TV. You can't tell black parents they value TV more than you working on TV is much more important than you being at home for Christmas. So when I say to them, no, we're shooting. Now I'm no longer on TV. Now I can't come up with anything. So now I just don't. I'm just like, yeah, yo, my house is burning in Joburg. Please, I'm going home. So absolutely important. I think it's important because also that will take away the pressure, the pressure of feeling like you've got to do certain things for your family because you have to show up. Showing up sometimes may look like you need to splurge on certain things, but it should not be like that, especially for Tina Abandamnyama. January is coming, Okay? And what we don't want is to find ourselves in a situation where January becomes a month that is horrible, because I promise you, how the morning starts is how the evening is going to end. And what you don't want is to have your January start the year in a sour taste and then have December 2024 look exactly like 2023. As people, we have to progress. So it's important. So all I wanted to speak about on this specific podcast is to remind you that to whom much is given, much will be required. The question I'm leaving you with is, who is this that is requiring much from those who much is given? Thank you very much for listening to Yes, Money Does Matter. I am your host, Nicolette Mashile, also known as The Financial Bunny. I want to remind you that nothing said on this podcast constitutes as financial advice. If you are, however, looking for financial advice, please do speak to somebody who's certified and registered with the FSCA. I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.